Still Crazy After All These Beers is brought to you by our friends at Michelob, crafting a better beer. And Porta Pong, the world's #1 best-selling inflatable beer pong table at portapong.com.
Hi, this is Megan.
This is Tilly.
This is Mara.
And you're watching Still Crazy After All These Beers.
And welcome to this week's edition of Still Crazy After All These Beers. And Tara's joining us this week. How you doing, Tara?
I'm doing great. I'm really excited to be along, Gerry. Thanks.
I'm just excited to be alive. I'll tell you the way things are going lately. We'll get into that at some other point. But Gerry, how are you, my man?
Fine, and yourself today?
Hey, now tell us about your company. Company's called?
Butternuts Beer and Ale. We're in upstate New York. It's a small brewery that's basically been founded from nothing in an old dairy barn, actually. We created this brewery from dismantling 2 other small microbreweries 5 years ago, and in the last 2 years we've gained quite a market share and a lot of notability in numerous food magazines and men's magazines also, so to speak. So that could be part of our success, but we have a good brewer on hand, Chuck Williamson and his wife Ann, which work every day at the brewery. We have an apprentice, Sam, who is with me today, and we're doing pretty good for what we came from, I feel, you know.
Always makes me wonder why in this such a competitive market, why someone wants to take the plunge and become a professional brewer, have a brewery. Why do you want to do this?
Well,
is it like a dream for you?
I'm actually not a professional brewer. I'm a professional beer taster. You see? Yes, absolutely. And the reason why I'm a mechanic by trade, which is a very miserable occupation. There's not a lot of happiness in that business. The beer business, lots of happiness in that.
There's also a lot of hoppiness in the.
Yes, there is a lot of hoppiness and a lot of other things, but which we won't get into. When you do the interviews later, you'll see what I'm talking about. But anyway, as far as the beer business goes, people are happy. It's an exciting business as far as the different trade people you do meet, the different personalities you come across, and it's usually a good time. You know, the equipment repair, the farm business, that I do farm equipment repair, construction equipment repair, it's a depressed business now due to the economy. And when people are a little under the weather, blue, they seem to drink more, which is actually a good thing for us. And so it's good for my head as well.
Right. Tell me about this beer I'm drinking. This is really a nicely balanced beer.
What you're drinking there is our pork slap ale, which is actually our #1 seller. It's a recipe that Chuck had come up with years ago, who is the owner brewer, and he tweaked it a little bit, and for some reason people just rave it. I just don't. It's almost a 6-to-1 to any of our other 3 products that we make. So
you had a question about the packaging as well, right?
Yeah, you were saying that you don't bottle. You only sell your beer in kegs and cans, and this canning looks to be a trend now. So why did you decide to go for cans instead of bottles?
2 reasons for that. One was we went into the business. A bottling line we could not afford to buy a new bottling line. And no used ones were available at a reasonable price. And cask canning up in Calgary, Canada, had a small 5-head filler system, which we bought new. Well, that's one of the reasons. The other reasons is cans are way more environmentally conscious. They're easier to handle, easier to recycle. You can take a can on a beach. You can take a can to a state park. You can take a can on a hike. You know, it's just a nicer product. It's a better way of packaging it. You have no sun-struck beer. It keeps the beer better. There's no air infiltration at all. Believe it or not, with a bottle, you still have small air coming in there, and the sun will get to your beer and you'll skunk. So the can is actually like a mini keg, easier to handle, recycle, and it's a novelty. There's not much good beer in cans.
The negative, if you will, would be the perceived image of the beer, you know?
Yeah. Do you have to sort of overcome that?
You gotta broaden your horizons and really get into the 2000s here now, you know? A can is, you should think of it as a mini keg. not as a second-class citizen like most people do, you know.
I realize that one day we're actually going to afford 2 microphones. This would really be so cool when that happens.
You know, what's interesting to me about the canning trend is that you see the same thing in wine. You know, you've got decent box wine, you have the plastic corks, you have the screw tops, and for so long, everybody, you know, that did not meet with the snob factor,
Absolutely.
but now you've got good beer in cans, and so that's kind of a revolution in thinking that we've got to readjust to.
So I got to applaud you for making that move. You know, I know there's some people out there that will not touch beer in cans, but
we have
it's
a lot
damn
of markets. A lot of restaurants won't even entertain us unless we're in a bottle. Well, we don't need them anyway.
Well, they don't know what they're missing.
They don't know what they're doing.
Do we have time for another question?
Okay, throw another question.
All right, so you were saying that that restaurateurs in Nevada and Vegas are asking about you too because you've got some high-end celebrity-type chefs in Manhattan. Go ahead.
In Manhattan that have our product on in cans, no less. So they have restaurateurs that have restaurants in Manhattan. They also have restaurants in Nevada, and they want our product out there, which we're currently working on getting licensed in Nevada. And
Sounds like a hell of a field trip, though.
it's not bad. I actually have to go out there and do some market studies myself. So I believe I might have to disappear to go to Nevada here in a month or two.
And on that note, the company again is called
Butternuts Beer and Ale. You can find us at any quality establishment, actually.
Gerry. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for interviewing.
And Tara, thanks for coming on with us. Let's enjoy this beer, okay?
Happy morning.
All right. We'll see you next time on Still Crazy.